Hello, friends. Thank you so much, Nilma, once again for giving me this opportunity. And I remember we were discussing in the beginning, right? How to how do we see like science and spirituality? And I remember all our discussions. And for friends who don't know me, I'm doing meditation for quite some time. Um, and I was always interested. The more I read in the books, the more I go through the experiences, I always want to find the relation of our daily experiences and how can we explain scientifically. And with that, I had a lot of, or I got into, I was interested into these great beings, great scientists, and I want to understand their philosophy and how they approached. And by working together with nature, by working in harmony with nature, there are really a lot of such researchers everywhere. There are the I selected a few of them who are the hidden, or he, they're hidden beneath the history, I would say. Not so many people know them. So these are these hidden heroes. Last week we, sorry, last month we started with Dr. Masaru Emoto, who is a great researcher who showed the world that water has memory, and we learned a bit about him. And then I was also, um, by reading about him about in the past, so I also got to know about another great scientist, inventor, and also who I would say great nature lover, which I will introduce him later after our meditation session. He's yeah, Viktor Schauberger and his works in today's part one. So that's in short how I'm continuously trying to find the relation, how we can explain our physical world and what are the spiritual principles behind. So I would say let's start with meditation, friends, because it's always important for us to tune out all the noise outside and come into our beingness, be centered, and then with that, we are going to connect with our own universal self, through which we can connect to these great other beings, I would say, who walked on earth. We would learn a lot about their knowledge. So I request you all to have some water first. Have some water nearby, because in the last time we also talked about water, which is having a memory and consciousness through which you can connect to the water and sit very comfortably. Clasp your hands, cross your legs, and close your eyes. Start observing your normal, unnatural breath, friends. Let's have some music in the background. Breathing in, you're relaxing more and more. And breathing out, let go of any worries. Just be with your normal, natural breath. Okay, friends. Gently place both of your palms on your eyes. Staying there for a few seconds. And you may open your eyes whenever you're ready. So thank you so much, friends, for this amazing meditation. Meditation with running water. So without further delay, let us understand who this great Viktor Schauberger is. So let me share my screen. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, yes, Shashank.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so about Viktor Schauberger, he was actually from Austria, Nilima's favorite place. He was born in 1885 on June 30th at the border of Austria, Germany, and Czech Republic in a small village, Holzschlag. So people who are living in Munich, it's quite near where he was. So we are really, really near to him. Is it right, Nilima? Quite near for you. So yeah, he right from the childhood, he was into forestry, although his father wanted him to learn more about other fields, but he wanted to stay true to his roots, where his forefathers are into working as forest wardens. So there was, at that time at least, the nature is more undisturbed by humans at least, and he was fully connecting with nature. So right from the childhood, he was actually sitting around along the rivers, just connecting to the water without him knowing, just connecting to the water and how it feels. He started connecting to the consciousness of water. Only years later, he realized that this phenomena is happening, but his entire childhood, when he was in his youth, he was doing this almost on a daily basis. So through this, he later revealed that water taught him all the secrets, which he wrote in his some of his works and later some of his inventions. So that is a short background who he is and where he is from. So one of his principle is that water carries information, and friends, this is even before Dr. Masaru Emoto. So without him having any scientific background. Of course, he has some arts, and he was studying about Goethe language and some history, but he didn't study in a standard education system. So he didn't have any university degree, but he found out that water can communicate information, and water, of course, it carries vital energy and nutrients, as well as it can self cleanse. So this is what he already discovered through his works. And he later revealed that the water that we are using through and transporting through pipes is losing its vitality, almost like a dead water. And he wanted to work in a way that it regains its vital energy. So he started observing the spiraling motion of water. So, first observation, as above, so below. The entire universe, from the galaxies to the motions and to the whirlpools in the water, everything is spiral in motion. And he discovered this about these two forces. One is the centripetal force and centrifugal force. Of course, this is already in physics at that time, or science at that time. But he also observed how nature is using these two motions. Centrifugal being the motion is coming from the center, and it is just radiated outside. And centripetal is exact opposite, where the energy is spiraling and concentrated in the center. So exactly like in a whirlpool, or when you put the water in a sink, how the water is forming the spirals. So that is a centripetal movement. And he discovered that nature uses centrifugal movements only to decompose and dissolve matter. And through this, there is a certain energy pollution. So, which means he discovered, or he warned the community at that time, that most of our technologies, be it any turbines, anything, is generating energy from the center and radiating outside. And he said we should exactly go opposite. And repeatedly he explained, but of course, him being very, very opposite to the scientific community, he faced a lot of resistance. But it's a quite thinking along with nature and being harmonious with nature. So he was also called as father of implosion technology, and again based on the principle of centripetal, right? So again, implosion is gathering the energy from the outside and then going into the center. Right now, our more everything what we see, be it a force of destruction like explosives, just it explodes out, the heat energy is coming out. The cars we drive, it is nothing but the combustion engine where we explode the fuel and the heat is used. And the same way, the way we generate power is also nothing but we burn the energy of coal or nuclear, and that heat is again used for generating energy. So you can see everywhere what we have learned in school, college, universities, everything is based on this explosion. And he said he's the first one to also say it way, way vocally, that we need to really go into implosive energy through vortexes, and his focus was mainly on water. And he also created such water generators, one to purify water, to bring back the vitality of water, and the second one is to utilize this as an energy. So for this, he had quite some patents. So yes, friends, this is a short introduction to him. There is, of course, some books I noted here. I started reading his biography, and yeah, it never occurred to me or that a person can go into such deep levels of water. And now, whenever I see running water, running streams, I'm just stuck at the magic of water. So there are some amazing books, Living Water, and also like there are some the book called Hidden Nature. So these two books are currently what I'm reading, and it's really, really amazing. And finally, I would share one video. Also, like next time when you find a stream nearby, you can see how the water is flowing from the stones, and water always finds its own path. It makes its own spirals. So yeah, in nature, you will find this everywhere. So next time you find such streams, always remember. So yes, friends, in next week I would like to show some of his works, and particularly I really liked that he wanted to be closer to nature, and he believed that the present education is highly disturbed by the mechanistic ways of life. And in the 1880s itself, or let's say later in his 1890s and 1900s, he was already big proponent of being in harmony with nature, and he warned that if we go at this present way, we are really uh, we will see destructions, and we can already see this in the current world. So he's a great visionary and seer, and most of his works are also quite hard to understand, because we need to really align the same way he saw water. And I would say he's a great spiritual scientist. He was so connected. He was one. He was always one with yeah. He was always one with nature. So thank you so much, friends. With that, I would like to ask, like, if you have some more questions
Uh,
about Viktor Schauberger, or
Sesha,
if you like to share. Yeah.
before going to questions, maybe could you also tell to our participants like when the next session is going to be part two, please?
Yes. So the next session is next Saturday, so 30th, next week. And there, let's dig a bit much deeper into Viktor Schauberger's work. And if really someone is interested, Viktor Schauberger's son, he established actually a research center in Austria. It's actually sometimes it's open to public as well. So there one can see the legacy of this great person, and some of his designs. Yeah. Yes,
Thanks.
friends. Yeah. Does anyone know about Viktor Schauberger? What, or do you, are you hearing this for the first time? So let me know.
I'm also hearing for the first time. Like, I mean, I just was only aware when I was creating this flyer, and I have heard only from you, Sashank. And thanks a lot for bringing. But I will also give the opportunity for our other participants to answer to your question now. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Oh yes, Pavniji, please
Thank you
go
so
ahead.
much for thank you so much for choosing this uh, wisdom. Thank you, and such a great spiritual scientist. I'm so very um, impressed. And now my I think I couldn't follow that probably. One question is what you told is he researched in his research he found that and there is centrifugal and centripetal force, that means forming a spiral, that is the nature of water. So there is a spiral energy, and in that spiral energy two types of forces, centrifugal and centripetal, the inward and the outward. Fantastic. That means in the nature it is already there. So would you again in your future sessions explain about what should we learn from that particular concept, or I couldn't understand. I mean, please explain to me if it's possible now. Otherwise, in the future sessions, I'm very much inquisitive to understand about that. What is that water is teaching us through this particular aspect of spiral form of energy?
Yes, Pavniji, wonderful, wonderful question. Thank you. Thank you for that. Um, yes, I mean, we have been learning these about these two forces, right? About centrifugal and centripetal. We are using this everywhere. So, um, for Viktor Schauberger, it is about time for us to be in harmony with nature. So, without any pollution. So, this is one thing. Yeah, sees a great responsibility for every being, person, to be in harmony with nature and follow nature's ways. So, and of course, he didn't lay all the, um, I would say, steps, how this can be helpful, but many other researchers followed his footsteps. For example, they used this centripetal force or spiral force to clean water. So they they prepared, or they invented apparatus where you can clean the water, which means, as Victor Schauberger told, like the water that's flowing through the taps, and this is also proved by Dr. Masaru Emoto, which we learned last time. The water coming through the taps is not really a healthy water, and either through affirmations, either through expressing our gratitude, we can vitalize the water. But Victor Schauberger also showed that when you do a centripetal force, like when you try to bring this water into a spiral motion, then the water becomes healthy again. So this is a really new way of looking water as a living force. So Victor Schauberg also told that water is like blood in our body. So go, similar to the blood in our body, water is to the earth. So it is flowing in certain areas everywhere across the earth, making the life itself. So he's showing us to look at the water not just like some, yeah, not just like some physical chemical compound, but much more. This is one of the mystery of water. Yeah.
Amazing. Sorry if I missed it. I was very inquisitive to understand what the author is saying, what the scientist is
Yes,
saying.
that's great. That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Phoneji, for that.
I felt so happy listening to this. Wonderful, very
Yeah.
enriching. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Srikalaji, please go ahead.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you very, very much for this very, very interesting and amazing session. I also feel sad that I missed the first part last week. And yes, it's a big issue with the waters getting dirty and not being no longer healthy. But what I heard, because I'm also reading much of these Chinese philosophical books where they also have water as a central part for their philosophy, because Chinese philosophy, in particular martial art, takes a lot from the nature. Yeah, nature has a lot of force, very forceful energies, which they made use and develop their martial arts. In that sense, water is also very essential, part for their energy. And I would be really very interested to learn more about this, in particular, how this is related to the Indian philosophy. How you can, how do you explain this energy force, this big force light in water?
Mhm. Yeah, Srikalaji, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
very much.
much. Yeah, first of all, we will share with you our YouTube links from last session on Dr. Masaru Emoto. His
That would
entire,
be very nice.
yeah, his entire life work is to prove that water is a living form, living being, and it reacts really to our thoughts and emotions. That's what he proved in entire life. And he might be motivated by Viktor Schauberger because this person is really in 1880s, so it's quite some centuries. Coming to martial arts, thank you for bringing up. That's my favorite subject because I practice a martial art called Aikido. It's coming from Japanese uh, Japanese martial art, and there is certainly a relation everywhere. In Aikido itself is the way of connecting and harmonizing with universe. So there we really use spiraling movements, again centripetal. We actually do centripetal movements. That's why I'm very interested. And in, as you said, in many Chinese martial arts as well. And if you go to martial arts again, it is coming from Zen, Chen in Chinese, and it again the roots are to India. So if you know about Bodhidharma, so that's how through Buddhism it traveled everywhere. So definitely there are a lot of relations. Um, and again, I can tell like if you talk about India, as I come from an Orthodox Brahmin family in India, I never understood why we bless the food with water, but only later coming into meditation, I understood that you charge the water through this chant, which means bring all the prana in the water, and you charge with this charged water. You are charging your food. So there are very deeper meanings which I only understood through meditation behind these customs, especially especially in Orthodox ways. But if you, it's only Orthodox if you don't know the meaning, right? Once got to know the meaning, I started charging water the same way. So Yeah. Thank you for that wonderful question. Also, yes, Rikalaji, we will post this in our WhatsApp groups, definitely. And thanks to everyone for writing. Yes, Pavaniji.
I have a doubt. Can to create this spiral movement uh, or the centrifuge equal energy as centripetal and centrifugal forces are creating in the water, can we use pyramids to create the same energy? Because how to create that form of energy when we store water in a container, suppose good metal like copper, we store it, and then to create that kind of spiral energy instead of because we can't create that kind of spiral energy in the stored water, so can we use pyramids so that there is constant movement of energy, flow of energy?
Yeah, Pavaniji, very, again, another good question. I mean, of course, I cannot tell that clearly because Viktor Schauberger, he showed that water running in the stream, for example, it has its natural flow, and it's, or as we see in the video as well, like it's spiraling on itself. It is fully in life. But the moment, of course, we keep in container, obviously it is slowly losing its. But what we learned also again with the pyramids is pyramids are also charging water. So in this way, it is increasing the prana in the water itself. But the combination would be even better. But one must really experiment. What I started doing is I started uh, pasting love and gratitude on water containers everywhere because I learned from Dr. Masaru Emoto that every time you see this word love and gratitude, you definitely have something in you. And this emotion reacts, of course, is captured by water. So water is like taking some pictures of our emotions, and we are drinking that water. And I have a pyramid on water at the same time. So I'm using this as well. And I could actually notice every time I drink water, I feel it. So definitely something is happening. This is what I can say. But it's a great question that we are bringing all together: pyramid energy, our affirmations, and yeah, also how to bring life into water.
Because we are far from rivers and all, but so in a city
Yeah,
life, so how to create that spiral energy which is very natural to water? Because it is inevitable, because Dr. Masuro Emoto already told that we can't take the water from directly from the tap and drink, so we have to inevitably store in a
yeah,
good container like copper and all. So to create that spiral, that now the missing thing is that spiral energy, so I felt that
yeah,
question
definitely.
in me.
Like, I mean, there are several organizations. Of course, this is not as popular, but several organizations are already doing this. They create the spiraling in a water. So they have a small kind of turbine, I would say. I want to do this experiment as well. They try to spiral the water and then they see before and after. So some organizations are already doing this, but it is not large scale and available to everyone. But I like your idea, like using pyramids to charge the water to bring it to its natural state. Because as we learned, pyramids bring the natural state to everything around. So be it persons, be it organic material, and water is a best reacting with the pyramid. Yeah.
Just to explore more, because in here with all of you, more knowledge may come out. So just a thought, creating that spiral energy through turbines, and the same water is being again and again, um, uh, there is a moment given to that same water, but here in the stream or a river, it is continuously flowing, and that continuous flow impacts a lot on that spiral energy. That's a naturally created spiral energy, I think. Just this is just a thought. I really don't know, but what I feel is the a natural flow is far different from a flow or a spiral energy created in the turbine. So, in a way, pyramid receives lots and lots of universal energy. So, what I felt is that there is a flow created in the water continuously when there is no natural river or anything, when we are far away from a river, and that's what I felt, instead of a turbine which creates spiral form of energy in the water. That is a stagnated water, isn't it? So
Yes. Yeah. Only one thing, Pawnichi, like again, based on what Viktor Schauberger worked out his entire life, the moment water gets a spiral form, it is automatically going into the harmony of its natural state. So the moment this movement is coming, it is fully alive. And he checked through his measurements, um, through yeah, how alive it will become. And definitely we need to bring more awareness here, and more people are now interested in Viktor Schauberger's work. When he was alive, people of course are opposing him because it challenges our understanding. But now more and more people are recognizing his work. So hopefully everything is um, yeah, hopefully we will have more research in this direction.
and one more thing I want to add is in Siddha Yoga, I'm not clear about it at all, but I just recently heard if a person moves in eight formation, there is eight formation. We create one with two chairs or any two things, and we um, move in between the chairs and outward the chairs in the eight form, number eight. So many purifications in our body are done, and many neural networks, many blockages are cleared. That's what I understood, and I'm now feeling that when you are saying that in that centripetal and centrifugal moment only, there is harmony which is being created to along with the nature. So probably many diseases are cured when we walk in that eight pattern, inward and outward. So this is the moment which is happening in centripetal and centrifugal, inward and outward. And in our life is also, our being now is also that inward and outward moment. When we see, we receive outward emotions, outward inputs, and we go inside, and again from the inside we move outside. So this can also be pertain to our soul journey also, I think. Thank you.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. That's another yeah, another great analogy. Thank you so much, Panaji, for bringing this amazing wisdom, going inner, and from inner, we this wisdom we are coming out. Thank you.
Instantly, when I heard this, I was so fascinated, and I felt this inner and outer. When you explained it so very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Panaji. Great to know about Siddha Yoga and number 8. Yeah. Also, thank you so much, friends from the chat, especially Nagendraji, explaining a little about these two forces. Sharadaji and Darshanaji, thank you so much for sharing as well. Yeah. Thank you, Priyaji, through crystals as well. Oh, that's also like great to know. Charging through crystals. Maybe Nilima can tell more about it. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think I will answer through Priya's question. I think Priyaji, like through crystals also, again, all these are tools to enhance or to bring that prana into the water or into the food, like whatever we consume, right? So even crystals have an impact to enhance the energy. However, we need to clearly know which crystal works for what. And there are few crystals where if the water touches, they get melted. That is the reason we always use clear quartz crystal. And there are also certain bottles where you will be having a knob inside the bottle where little bit of water will be touching those crystals and it doesn't stay in that knob. So there are special bottles as well. And this is also one of the reason why we have to drink water in a glass, not in plastic. So these are all the things like that there's lots and lots and lots of research going on for everything. And I feel like every person in this globe, like at one point of the time, they start doing one research, continually another person comes up and starts doing in different direction. And in the end, like we have a vast consciousness here that we have to appreciate all these famous scientists, that how they have kept their research to the natural things. In the natural, everything remains. So for me, yes, so crystals is also one form. And coming back to the session, thanks a lot, Seshank, for coming up with this idea of bringing and sharing the journey of these great scientists, because it is very much important for us to understand how they got connected. And you have beautifully kept in words that he is from our famous Austria.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's such a beautiful place. And when you're saying like how he was like occupied in the nature, it was in front of my eyes how he should be occupied with all the trees, the entire nature, river, streams, mountains, and so on. And the idea that he brought, like just by observing the nature, he felt there is something that is missing in the pipes, like in the drinking water, especially because water is an essential element for all of us. And he started this idea by observing just the nature force. And as you mentioned, Seshank, as above, so below. What a hermetic, like how he was so wise also in understanding the hermetic principles and just observing how the direction of the energies are and putting that in centrifugal and centripetal. And of course, our discussions today helped us a lot to understand about these forces, and also the way that you have mentioned about implosion. And when you were actually showing the video, I clearly understood how the spiral has been formed. So from outwards, it grabs all the energy and just goes inward, and then it also cleanses. So everything is possible in the end. We can always experiment, my dear friends, like which way is working for us. It is this author's way that he brought in. Through this way, it is very much easier that we bring life force into the water that we are drinking, like the water which has been missed the prana in those pipes, like in the drinking water that we get through the pipes. And this is also one of the reason I have to say, like, I think Madhu is not there. Maybe on behalf of them, I'll be sharing. I think this is the reason why Madhu and Ram also always get the water directly, get the drinking water, like the spring water, because natural water has always retains its properties. So, and also, I was also reading the book of Anastasia, and even in that book, she mentioned with this water molecule, one person can know his entire DNA, where it has been generated from years. So not only these books, if we even have seen Frozen 2, every person might already know, because Elsa has connected to the water, and she has seen the entire story of their parents, of her parents, and so on. So that much importance is there for water, and these scientific journeys make us more aware, and they teach us more how we have to increase our prana in every food or everything that we consume. Even the vital forces, even the wisdom, how we have to consume, everything is an energy. So thank you so much, Seshank, for having this great idea in bringing the great journeys, in bringing the scientific work of all these authors, and looking forward for part 2 of, and I want to really explore the work of his. And for sure, since we are in Munich, we all should utilize, we should go to these museums, and we have to see the work of them, and we have to imbibe that into our practices. So thanks a lot, Seshan. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nilima. Excellent. Especially the Elsa from Frozen 2, everyone has to watch. Now I understand. She connected to water, and she gets to know all the story behind what happened. So friends, for those who didn't watch Frozen 2, this is the opportunity to watch this as soon as possible to understand water. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you for your patience. And thank you also for writing in the chat. It's Hollywood movie, Srikalaji. It's actually Disney. I guess I always thought it is for kids. You know, everyone is talking Frozen, Frozen, but I understood its importance and the hidden meanings. It's quite spiritual, I would say. Yeah, Disney.
Yes, in order to understand this part 2, you should also see part 1
Part
as
1.
well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for these wonderful discussions. Also, Nagendraji, thank you for writing and explaining as well that centripetal force is the moment of stillness. That is true. I just want to share that in they always say the eye of the hurricane. So hurricane is really devastating, right? But at the center, it's extremely still. So yeah, that's what I remembered. Thank you so much. Yeah, perfect. That's it from my side. Thank you so much. And over to Nilima.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Seshank. And just once again, my dear friends, so currently we have been, like Seshank got this idea on bringing the great scientist journeys in a form of series, like where he'll be sharing currently about the 4 authors, and for 4 consecutive months. So every month he will be sharing about a scientist, like the journey of one scientist. And in the last month, Seshank has shared about Dr. Masaru Emoto, where I have posted the links, and we will also share that in the group WhatsApp groups as well. So this month it is Viktor Schauberger, and we'll be knowing about the next author in the coming days, like in the part 2, and so this is the idea of bringing, and the journey continues in bringing many scientific works of all the great scientists across the globe. So thank you all. Thank you so much for this beautiful session and the beautiful question and answers. So thank you.
Thank you.